Today, we're gonna go over, technically, the first part of 7.3. In years past, 7.3 was split between two sections, so you guys are getting just the first half, which is the easy part, which is nice for you guys. But like I talked about the other day, we start with multiplying and dividing, and then we do adding and subtracting. And if we know anything about fractions, what information is important in order to add fractions or subtract fractions? A general fraction, what has to be true? Add and subtract fractions, what has to be true? The class said confidently, because we know how to add and subtract fractions. What must be true to add and subtract fractions? What? The denominator has to be the same. So typically 7.3 is split between two sections, common denominator and uncommon denominator. We are just going to be covering common denominators. So that's all we're going to be covering for 7.3. As I said before, Ms. Bergman and I had made the decision prior to the FastBridge announcement, but we were thinking about doing a quiz over just the 3 lessons of Unit 3, but then FastBridge came up and they're like, nope, no more time. So Unit 7 will just be like intermixed into the final. The final is the whole year final, Unit 1 through Unit 7, or what we've gotten through Unit 7. It is multiple choice, like it has been. And like I said, next week you'll start getting reviews for said final, okay? And like I said, FastBridge obviously is taking one of those days away, which again is not our decision. So don't be mad at us. Be mad at the district. Okay. So again, we are adding and subtracting rational expressions. And this is with a common denominator. Okay, and your instructions are simply to add or subtract. Show work. And simplify if possible. So this worksheet will be like mixed between adding and subtracting. It won't be like the last worksheet, which was all multiplying, then all dividing. So it'll go back and forth. So just make sure you're paying attention to what adding or subtracting you're doing. Okay. All right, as always, we'll start with just a general fraction with numerical values, and then we'll start putting in those variables. So 10/12 plus 6/12. 10/12 plus 6/12. When we have a common denominator, what are we able to do right away? Add across, okay? Now, when we add across, do we add across the numerator and the denominator? Just the numerator, great. So when you have a common denominator, you are able to add the numerators. And so we get 10 plus 6, which would be 16/12. Once we have a simplified or a combined answer, then we want to simplify if possible. So 16 and 12 have a common factor of 4, and so therefore it would simplify to a fraction of 4/3. Okay, let's put some x divided by 4 plus 5x divided by 4. X divided by 4 plus 5x divided by 4. And when we combine those, we get a value of 6x divided by 4. And how would that simplify?
Three x divided by 2.
Yeah, 3x divided by 2. They're both divisible by 2. So we get 3x divided by 2. Okay, now the hesitation was probably because students were probably thinking, can I simplify because it's an x? Similar to what we did in the last lessons, as long as they're being multiplied to each other, you can simplify each part individually. If they're being added or subtracted to each other, then you can't simplify parts individually. So because technically it's 3 times x, or sorry, 6 times x, then you can simplify the 6 and the 4 individually. All right, number 3, x squared divided by x plus 7 minus 49 divided by x plus 7. So when we combine like terms in the numerator, we would get x squared minus 49, good. How would we go about simplifying this one? What are we gonna have to do? Our favorite thing in the whole wide world, what are we gonna have to do? We're gonna have to factor, which I heard was on the test yesterday, which makes me so happy, because I told you it would be, and I told you it would be, okay? Factoring, how will we factor the numerator? X plus 7, x minus 7. And can we simplify? We can simplify x plus 7 and x plus 7. And so we are left with x minus 7. Okay, good work. Let's keep building on our skill. Okay, let's throw a subtraction in there. Let's see what happens here. Or we just did a subtraction, sorry. Let's do a subtraction with multiple terms. So y divided by 3y squared minus y plus 1 divided by 3y squared. Okay, what happens when we have to subtract multiple terms? What happens when we have to subtract multiple terms? Even if you weren't looking at the denominator, what would you have to do when you subtract multiple terms? What do I have to do with the subtraction sign? Do you think it only applies to part of it? You have to what? You have to apply it to both parts, which is a vocab word that starts with a D, meaning you would have to distribute the negative. Yes. So in reality, you would have to think of it like y minus the quantity of y plus 1, which means you would have to distribute that negative. Okay, because we are subtracting more than one term, you would have to think about distributing the negative, which would leave us with y minus 1. Okay, you do not have to show the work of you distributing the negative, you can just do it. If you forget about distributing the negative, I would suggest writing that step, because 9 times out of 10, students always forget that second term or third term or whatever term it may be, but they always do the first and forget about the rest. So because of that, what would this simplify? What would happen? Yeah, so y minus y simplifies, and we would just get -1 divided by 3y squared. Okay, I'm gonna write down number 5. I want you guys to complete that one. X divided by 2x squared minus x plus 4 divided by 2x squared. X divided by 2x squared minus x plus 4 divided by 2x squared. Stuff in the chat, good. All right, let's see what we should have gotten. So, like I said, you do not have to show that you're distributing. You can just simply write out the distributed version. So x minus 4. X minus x would simplify. And I get negative 4 divided by 2x squared. Okay, and then hopefully you notice 4 and 2 could simplify. So therefore, your final answer should be negative 2 divided by x squared. And most people did have that, or they had the one before it. So remember that you can simplify things as long as they're multiplied together. Does anyone have any questions or concerns regarding number 5? Okay. Number 6. Three a plus 13 divided by a plus 4 minus 2a plus 7 divided by a plus 4. Go ahead and simplify that one as well. Go ahead and simplify that one as well. 3a plus 13 divided by a plus 4 minus 2a plus 7 divided by a plus 4. Okay, I'm getting a lot of consistent answers in the chat. Anyone in person that'd like to share that answer? Maybe someone that hasn't shared anything today? Second chance, anyone that hasn't shared today that would like to share what they got? Okay, anyone that would like to share in person? Okay, I'll go to my virtual students because I have about 6 of them volunteering, which I very much appreciate. And they got A plus 6 divided by A plus 4 consistently, which is correct. I did get a couple variants of answers, but I did get the majority being A plus 6 divided by A plus 4, which is correct. So let's show how that works. So 3A plus 13 would stay the same. Then we would minus 2A and minus 7. So 3A minus 2A would be A, and 13 minus 7 would be 6. And so we get A plus 6 divided by A plus 4. We cannot simplify this one because they are added to each other. Okay, that's a great question. It was, can we not simplify this further? And there's no, because they're added together. So again, if terms are multiplied to each other, you can always simplify numerator, denominator. But if they're added or subtracted to each other, those things have to stay together, and it would have to be the whole thing that simplifies at the same time. Okay, great questions. Okay, let's get back into some more factoring based problems. Two x squared divided by x plus 3 plus x minus 15 divided by x plus 3. Okay, so when we're adding, it's a little bit nicer because you don't have to distribute anything, right? It just becomes 2x squared plus x minus 15, all is one statement. Now at this point, what should you be thinking when you're trying to factor the numerator? What should be a thought going through your head? X plus 3 is probably one of the factors, right? Because the whole intention is to simplify. So probably 90% of the time, whatever's already there is going to simplify. So that's going to help you get started with factoring the numerator. So factor the numerator with in mind that x plus 3 is most likely one of those factors. Now, I can't say guaranteed always, but the majority of the time, the point is to simplify. So most likely, majority of the time, what you already have is going to be what is part of the factoring. I'm gonna go walk around real quick. Virtual kiddos, I already have 3 answers in the chat, and those are all correct. Or 4 answers in the chat, and those are all correct. If you haven't sent me an answer, go ahead and send that to me on this problem so that I can check attendance. Again, if you have not sent an answer, go ahead and send that in the chat so I can mark for attendance. Oh. Okay, good. We got some more answers in the chat. I do appreciate that. Okay, so in the numerator, we're factoring, and since we're factoring with 2x squared, that means it has to be 2x and x. And we need factors of -15. So factors of -15, 1 and 15, and 3 and 5, depending on positive negatives. We already are ideally thinking that x plus 3 is going to be one of the factors. So if that's true, then we would have to have a 5. And to make that work, 2x times 3 is 6x, 5 times x is 5x. So to get it to positive x, this would be a -5, which means x plus 3 would simplify, which gets 2x minus 5. Like I said the other day, factoring is a main part of these lessons in this unit. If you're still struggling with factoring, please look up videos. There's thousands, if not more than thousands of videos on YouTube about different types of factoring or practice factoring. Khan Academy is a great way to practice factoring. Okay, tons of YouTube videos. Okay, or rewatch the videos from when we learned it in class together. Okay, just so you guys have a heads up, we got 3 more problems, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and then we will do homework. Okay, so as long as we are being consistent, we'll have a good amount of homework time, but got to make sure everyone's actively participating and trying and working towards the common goal of getting our work done. Okay, a squared divided by a plus 3 minus 2a plus 15 divided by a plus 3. Everyone should be trying this problem. Check your work, be careful, don't go too fast. But okay, so far we gotten some good answers in the chat, and it looks like everyone was paying attention. Wasn't sure if that would be a trick question for anyone, but it looks like everyone virtually was doing okay. In person, what do we think we should have as a final answer? A-5, good. So I was hoping everyone would pay attention to that negative, meaning we had to distribute it. It'd be negative 2a minus 15. Again, with the forethought that we're thinking a plus 3 is part of it. Now, that could not be, but again, 90, probably 5% of the time, we're going to want to cancel with what we have there. And we have factors of 15 again, so we know it's going to be a 5. And we need it to be negative. I just realized those are basically the same problem. Oh well. A-5. Final answer. On my pencil. Okay, good job. Number 9. 7 minus 2x divided by x squared minus 6x plus 8 plus 3 minus 3x divided by x squared minus 6x plus 8. Right. Now, in the numerator, because we are adding, okay, you can just add and combine at the same time. So when we add the, sorry, some people are still writing the original problem. Sometimes I go too fast. 7 minus 2x divided by x squared minus 6x plus 8, and then plus 3 minus 3x divided by x squared minus 6x plus 8. So when we combine the numerator, what do we have remaining? Negative 5x plus 10 divided by x squared minus 6x plus 8. Right. In the numerator, what can we do to simplify? In the numerator, what can we do to simplify? What type of factoring? A GCF, good. What should be the GCF? What? So it actually should be negative 5. Remember, the reason being is that we always like our first term to be positive. So if we can take out a negative number, we should do so. And we'd be left with x minus 2. Okay, now for the first time, our denominator also potential could simplify. Okay, how can we factor the denominator? X squared minus 6x plus 8. X minus 2, what? Yeah. Okay, again, with the thought in mind that you're probably going to have x minus 2 in the denominator, That will help us out with our factors. And so x minus 2 simplifies, and we're left with -5 divided by x minus 4. Okay, by this point, I believe most people have gotten the hang of it, but we're going to do number 10, last one. 2x squared plus 3 divided by x squared minus 6x plus 5 minus x squared minus 5x plus 9 divided by x squared minus 6x plus 5. So last problem, a little bit more complicated, but again, this is always a great indication of your ability to do your assignment. So x squared plus 3 divided by x squared minus 6x plus 5 minus x squared minus 5x plus 9 divided by x squared minus 6x plus 5. All right, so far I've been getting some great answers in the chat virtually. I'm gonna go ahead and take a swing around the room and I'll be back. And if you have not had a chance to answer it, you've got a couple more minutes before I get back. Okay, let's look at this problem. So first thing we need to do is distribute that negative. So we get 2x squared plus 3 minus x squared plus 5x minus 9 in the numerator, which combined like terms will leave me with x squared plus 5x minus 6 in the numerator. And we got a factor. Okay, so factors of -6 add to 5. Okay, this one's a tricky one because with 6, it's 1 and 6 or 3 and 2, which both methods could get you to 5, but you got to be careful with what you're looking for. So -6 and +5. So if we're looking for a negative number, that means one needs to be positive and one needs to be negative. Can we get to 5 with 3 and 2 if one's positive, one's negative? No, so we have to do 1 and 6 on the numerator. And since we're trying to get +5, we need +6 and -1. Okay, now in the denominator, we're trying to look for factors of 5. Factors of 5 are just 1 and 5. And if we're going with the logic that we're going to want to simplify, we're thinking -1. So to get to -6 and +5, this would also have to be -5. So x minus 1 would simplify. And we get x plus 6 divided by x minus 5 as our final answer. Okay, so I appreciate you guys did some great work. That was officially your last example problem for Algebra 2. So it's been a great year. We got 2 more weeks, like I said, left of work before the final. I'm going to post the assignment. It is also 10 questions. So hopefully you finish it pretty quickly. We have about 30, 40 minutes left of class. Well, not 40, but about 30, 35 minutes left of class. This assignment will be due Monday. Monday we'll start bringing out the reviews for the final. And then next Thursday, we have to do that fast bridge test. So again, if you are virtual, you will have to turn on your camera. I'm the only one that sees your camera, and I promise you no one else is looking at the camera during the test. I do have to see your whole face. It does need to be in the light. Okay, I cannot just see your eyebrows or the top of your head, and it cannot be pitch black in the room and just your face just barely visible. Okay, those are the rules that we were told to go by. So those are the rules that we will follow. Okay. So hopefully you guys have a great weekend and get this done before then so you can enjoy the weekend. So if you have any questions or if you need anything that you need to grade, please stick on. If not, have a great day.
Have a good weekend, Miss Jane, and bye.
Thank you, appreciate it.